Hi, it's Jimmy from Kids Opinion, and today we're looking at Batman Begins. So, yesterday I uploaded my review on the Justice League. And the reason I did that was because of the Snyder Cut coming out. So, I'm going to try and review the Dark Knight trilogy. A little bit of backstory on that. I saw Batman Begins and the Dark Knight about 5 years ago, maybe, and I actually really liked this one. I liked it more than The Dark Knight, but we'll talk about that when I go to my Dark Knight review eventually. So I rewatched this one last night, and well, let's talk about it. First of all, I want to say that I really think this is a cool hat. I got this from Six Flags. Normally, what I'm going to start trying to do is wearing things that go along with what the movie I'm talking about. Obviously, this Robinson shirt doesn't really go along with it. I just wanted to wear something. So, I'm also a big baseball fan. And I don't have any DC shirts, so I decided to go with this one. Now, let's start. Let's start with the good. Okay, first of all, I'm gonna have to say that the acting in this movie, like most Christopher Nolan movies, was actually really, really good. I really like Liam Neeson in it, really like Christian Bale in it. Um, I guess there were so many actors popping up that I could, like, kind of remember them in the movie, but not completely. Like, Cillian Murphy as Scarecrow, a really cool performance, because it's like a kind of creepy part. Like, the ending of it with, like, Rachel and the little boy and Scarecrow is actually kind of creepy. And I think the reason it's creepy is because of the Scarecrow. Um, I thought that was cool. And then you've got the fact that it was an origin story. They did the origin story perfectly. And this, maybe not perfectly, but almost to perfection. It was fantastic. I really liked how Liam Neeson got worked into it. Um, and how he ended up being the bad guy in it. I thought that was cool. I remember when I first saw it, I was shocked. Obviously, I knew it was coming because I could remember like some things, but not a lot of things. But I just love how it's going through, and I always like when they like experiment with costumes. I always just thought that was interesting to me when he's like how the origin of the bat signal, how he takes on that mob boss, and just like the fact that there is a crime syndicate, like organized crime in Gotham, and Batman takes them down. I thought that was cool because it's different than like the Joker and the Riddler. This is actually something real day. Yeah, actually, probably might get crime. I mean, I don't know. I don't live in like a big city or anything like that. So I don't know if there's like any crime bosses still, but that is a thing that has happened. So I thought it was cool that they brought organized crime into it. And I think this kind of goes along with the origin story, but I like the plot. Um, how the fact that it was an origin story and that goes into the plot. The plot was really good. Um, I just thought the plot was fantastic. How and everything kind of like goes together with like the Batcave and him falling into that hole, and how the villains are revealed. And it was just like almost like a smaller story, but still very high stakes in the end, which was cool. And the Ra's al Ghul twist, with it's not really Ken Watanabe. I think that was Ken Watanabe as Ra's al Ghul, but it's really Liam Neeson. How the plot like let that happen was cool. And then the villain, like, just the villain was like really cool. Villains actually. Scarecrow didn't overuse him, which was good. When he was in it, he was like Cillian Murphy, really good job. I think that was Cillian Murphy, I'm not sure. And then Liam Neeson as Ra's al Ghul. Liam Neeson, almost every movie he's in, he has a fantastic performance, and this movie is no exception. It was a fantastic performance by Liam Neeson. now, and my final good thing about this movie is going to be the Joker lead up. So I knew, like, by the time I saw this movie, everybody was always saying Heath Ledger's performance is amazing as the Joker in The Dark Knight. So I knew it was come up when I first saw the movie. But when I was watching this movie again, I could remember, like, watching a clip on YouTube of the Joker calling card, or just watching it. I don't know, I couldn't remember it perfectly, but I'm like, if I was in the theater watching this, my mind would go wild. That would be awesome if I saw like I'm sorry, Lieutenant Gordon at the end. His Lieutenant Gordon. He goes double homicide, bank robbery. He leaves the calling card, and then he gives Batman the Joker card. I'm like, that's cool. That's awesome. Yeah, just how they lead it up to the next movie, and it makes you excited. I like when movies do that, so it was really cool. Now I'm gonna have to go into the mixed aspects of the movie. Most of these, like with my Justice League one, there's things I really like about my mixed aspects, and things I don't really like the fight scenes. I remember I was watching a YouTube video, about a year ago about how the fight scenes in this movie and the whole Dark Knight trilogy aren't very good. And while I'm watching them, I'm like, that's not really true. But sometimes they'll, like, chop through, and then you'll see, like, Batman elbow someone, and then it goes away to another elbow, and I'm like, I mean, that's kind of cool, but I wish I could have seen more of Batman taking people down. But on the other hand, I like how he was mysterious at times, and maybe they did that because Christopher Nolan knew that he isn't the best at shooting those kind of action scenes, but always like lurking around and pulling people back. But the choreography maybe could have been better. And this maybe gets perspective for me, or because it was very late at night and I was tired when I was rewatching this yesterday. Sometimes I found it kind of boring. Not a lot of times, but just a few times. The character. I know that Christopher Nolan, has like spotted in his movies that like I don't want to say dialogue heavy, but just he uses his dialogue to make you think about things, which I don't know. I just felt like this may just be me, but it felt like at times it felt like I was watching a soap opera. Very little was that happening, like, and that's just a negative for me because I don't think soap operas are necessarily good. But there's just a little tiny negative, but it's not even a negative. That's why it's in the mixed, because it was just my perspective, and it was necessary. Like, if you just keep having action on action and action, the movie won't be very good. So an example of that was this movie called The Hunted with Tommy Lee Jones and Benicio del Toro. I think I'm pronouncing that right. It wasn't very good. It had like cool action, I guess, but the it didn't have enough character moments, so, and like things to make you feel sad about the movie or just personality, anything. But this movie did have it, and it was elevated forward by it. That's why it's a mixed aspect. For some people, it might be very high in their positives or in their good category. My final thing is some plot holes. I know you're probably wondering, wait, why is a plot hole in the mixed? It's mixed aspects, yeah, because I'm not exactly sure if it's a plot hole or, like I said before, if my brain was just kind of spiraling and I wasn't really sure what was going on or confused. And I mean, it's not like this was a confusing Christopher Nolan movie. At times, it could have been, but I was able to. It's not like Tenet, which was wow, like yeah, but sorry, it's a Batman Begins review. Gotta talk about that. I'm not even sure if there were plot holes. So I don't want to take away from this movie because I think it might have plot holes, but I'm not sure. Um, yeah. And then the final thing I want to talk about is, I'm sorry, I screwed up. This should actually go in my good, but I'll just talk about it anyways. the ending. The ending is awesome. Where, like, there are two lines I remember in this movie. It's one by Alfred when he's talking to Bruce in a flashback. It's weird. It was a weird line to remember. And then there was the one where Batman is talking to Ra's al Ghul, Liam Neeson. Then I'm going to try to do my best Batman voice. He goes, I'm not going to kill you, but I'm not going to save you either. Or something like that. Yeah, sorry, that was a terrible Batman voice. But that was like a really cool scene with the train going off and it's high stakes, but not like crazy wild. So it's still an origin story type ending, or it's not, okay, gotta figure out this costume. Okay, now I gotta save the world from total destruction by a giant alien. No, it still fits the type of movie they were going for. Yeah. And yeah. So I think this is a like fantastic movie. I'll give it a 9.1 out of 10. I feel like I just like my movies a little bit. I'm not even sure if I can pinpoint why this isn't 10 out of 10. I think it's some of my mixed aspects, like the fight scene sometimes is boring and some plot holes, which some of those might just be me. But this is my review, so it might just be me that's gonna go into what I think of this movie. And part of it is we've got so many superhero movies now. You gotta compare it to everything else. And part of it is like, well, I like my movies a little bit more jokey, and I like seeing all my MCU actors in my superhero movies. On the other hand, I'm like, for a non-MCU movie, for something in its own universe, this was fantastic. So yeah, I'm Jimmy from Kids Opinion. Please, in the comment section, the comments might not work at first. When I first created this channel, I said it was made for kids. I didn't realize that meant that the comments were off. I think that's what it means. So now I've got to go in and like edit all the time. Again, I'm new to YouTube, so I'm not sure if I'm getting this right. So yeah, tell me in the comments section, tell me what I can improve on. Tell me what movies to review, stuff like that. If the comments don't work at first, maybe come back a few days later, or just a day later, a few hours later, or whatever, and see if it works. Yeah, the next few ones are going to be interesting because I have Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises are going to be very interesting because I have specific thoughts on the Dark Knight and I've never seen the Dark Knight Rises, so that's going to be pretty cool. I'm Jimmy from Kids Opinion, and be good people.